And also, we should recollect on this holy day that all of us are very fortunate to be able to celebrate the birthday of His Holiness, the Great 14th Dalai Lama. And also, when we speak about the Buddhas, when we speak about the Bodhisattvas, one who is very much here with us, who we can really point to and see, is His Holiness the Great 14th Dalai Lama. And also, so then as we engage with this, we should think on the basis of the Buddha's sutras, on the basis of practices that are related to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. We are going to kind of invigorate our study and our practice. So when we think about the Buddhas of the three times, of the past, present, and future, one of the things that allowed the Buddhas to improve and to reach realization was the continued mindfulness of the three jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. Sorry, just get rid of this window.
Again, the shot to be the ruin beach and the teachers and drawer. Chicken to us, Nine, Mahakon and the tennis also sell Gundu, so not only Lakachin tire much the paperes.
So we understand that in terms of the three jewels of refuge, the Buddha is like the propounder, the teacher, and the Sangha are the friends who help us along the path. And the Dharma, the jewel of the teachings, is the actual refuge. And in this way, we can bring these three jewels and actualize them in the mind.
Ota Nova Mena Yotan, Nova Yinan Tashan, Nova Meva Yina Yota, and Zobel, Peto Yujan Barret, Sunchikalaten.
So if we are a Buddhist, then we understand that we can formally go for this practice of refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. But if we are perhaps not necessarily a Buddhist, we can definitely see that the Buddha's teaching continuing to abide is really a source of benefit in the world.
So the
Buddha was a teacher who accepted intelligence. He accepted a process of reasoning, right? There are many extraordinary qualities to his teaching.
And
actually, the sutra Recollecting the Three Jewels, tradition states that this should be a daily recitation commitment, right? But since most of us already have so many daily recitation commitments, this is a tradition that isn't really maintained so much. So really, actually, the sutra Recollecting the Three Jewels, as well as the praise to Shakyamuni Buddha and the three-part ritual, right, where we praise the 12 deeds of the Buddhas and so forth, these are recommended to be recited every day traditionally. And also, Geshe is saying that he thinks that a lot of these practices, in a similar way to the Vinaya, this practice of recollecting, the sutra of recollecting the three jewels and prostrating the Buddha, recollecting his deeds and so forth, this is probably something that you find common in all of the vehicles of Buddhism, even if the words are a little bit different, right? So in the Pali tradition of the hearers and the solitary realizers, as well as in the various Mahayana traditions. So then, in this way, this is a sort of brief introduction, and we will recite the sutra. Tanda kyamdro semche dan mante purwa. Yeah. So we'll begin in the first page of the prayers at the beginning of the teachings. Tumba chom den de jin je ba dra chom ba yon da bar zo be sang ye re ba dang shab su dem ba de war she
Deje sheba dachomba yondaba zobe sangye reba dang shazu denba dewa sheba jiden chemba chegu dewe kalo gyorwa lana meba ladang mi namgi tenba sangye chongdende bejawa shakya tuba la chaze lo chede gyazu chi o tenba chongdende deshin sheba drachomba yandaba zobe sanje reba dan shasu denba dewa sheba jiden chemba chebu dewe kalo jorwa lana meba ladam mi namgi tenba sanje chongdende bejawa shakya tuba la chaze lo chede gyazu chi o gengazo kanse kani zo jogirebe. So then we'll go to the mandala offerings. And so since it's His Holiness's birthday, we'll do the first short mandala offering verse, and then we'll also recite the verse of request to the Lama. So ji pegi jo shin me do ram ri ra bling ji ni And the next verse. Jewels Lama Damba Genam Giche Gala Refuge and bodhicitta. Chedan sogi chunam la jangchu bardu dani gyasuchi dagi chunyen gibe sonangi jola benje sange jobar sho. sonje
Chedon sogi chenam lai Changchu bardu dani gyabzu ji Dagi chenyen gibe sunangi Drola benjir songe drobar sho Chedon sogi chenam lai Changchu bardu dani gyabzu ji Dagi chenyen gibe sunangi Drola benjir songe drobar sho. And so let us just take a moment in our own meditation to bring forth the minds briefly of refuge and bodhicitta according to your understanding. So we'll pause there.
Oda tenotani jaya jawa toji chime no jini kala tere o ka di ina shewa ni shewa ta senje ki tendola pa leka chaya chi mato tak no ta kasi dia so me sungi duas.
So His Holiness, the great 14th Dalai Lama, has said that continuously he prays from lifetime to lifetime to continue to abide, to work for the welfare of the beings of this world. So he is not someone who abides without intention.
Oda yo da to ngaro so ina ta tende ta yo da ni ba ya to chi mo mo ra ko ndu ta te la ta kenjo so ge te tembe to ne kenjo so pe shanto tempo ta chi ke ju sha ni za so so ge ji le pe yon wa chi le ka che ku res.
And so in this way, then us also, we have many sort of powers or potentials within our mind. And so we rely upon the three jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha in order to strengthen those. And in particular, we understand that the Dharma jewel, the actual jewel, Gongda Chokunchuti Kare?
So so ji le shen ni ka so ni se ma te ne.
So we also pray that the Dharma jewel, which is the actual refuge, can be brought forth within our own mind stream, within our own continuum.
Oda dan so so ji le pe ge 춘주지 마도 말레바 이나요 다 대치게 주고 차다고 라와서 녀래 간디스 흉아이나 지게 주고 차고 치요.
And we also understand that any virtue that we bring forth within our mental continuum, this isn't the actual Dharma jewel, but it is kind of like the representative of the Dharma jewel. And similarly, in terms of our trainings in hearing, contemplation, and meditation, these are like a functional Dharma jewel for our mind. So in this way, we can say that there's sort of a nominal Dharma jewel within our mind right now, but of course it is not the actual Dharma jewel within our mind. So when you may ask, when is the actual Dharma jewel actualized within the mind? It is from that direct realization of emptiness. In other words, being able to see emptiness just like we can see those flowers on Geshe-la's little table. And once that emptiness has been realized, then we have true and real protection, true and real refuge. So isn't that beautiful that the Dharma jewel is the actual refuge, because we understand that when we are able to bring our wisdom clearer and clearer to see emptiness, then that is when true protection is achieved. So that's why out of the three jewels of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, it is only the Dharma jewel that is called the actual refuge, whereas the Buddha jewel is the teacher who propounds the path, and the Sangha jewel are the friends who assist us along the path.
다시안 저시안 이네 등이네 증간조 강에를 샤 그거는 샤 요도 마요사 소설라발요 버시 워치렌도
And also with this explanation, we understand when we talk about refuge, if we really want refuge from all of our problems in a meaningful way, at the end of the day, this is something that is in our hands to do when we think in this way, yeah? So Geshe said actually, like, if you understand this refuge from the point of view of actualizing these three jewels, you could have a picture in your shrine of yourself that you prostrate to, as well as the other images. He's just kidding, of course. Yes, but actually, really, it is we are. So he's joking, but it is really we ourselves who must actualize these jewels within our mind stream. Yeah. And also, in many of the Buddhist traditions, they say that there is already a Buddha which is within us. There is a Buddha in our mind, right? And that is not said without reason. And so, really, if we want to go for refuge, we need to understand the qualities of the three jewels. And so on the basis of the Sutra of Recollecting the Three Jewels, we will be able to understand those qualities, and we will also be able to put an imprint for them within our mind stream. So think I am working for the benefit. I'm working for the benefit of. So I am working for the benefit of all sentient beings, and in order to be able to achieve this, then for this reason, I am going to receive the oral transmission of this sutra of recollecting the three jewels. So Geshe is going to now read the sutra by way of this lung, this oral transmission. So just listen with attention, basically. And we may pause at various points. Geshe said he's not going to be able to, in our short session, give you the full meaning of this sutra, but in the oral transmission, he may pause at various points to give a bit of explanation.
So the
sutra remembering the three jewels, it's called this because we're actually supposed to have a recollection, a remembrance of the three jewels at all times, ideally.
So when
Khensu Rinpoche Delik was here recently, he mentioned that, each time we have a meal, actually we are supposed to offer that to the three jewels. And one of the real purposes of offering the food in this way is to help enable that constant recollection of Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha.
So
when we say Rigpa Dang Shabsu Dempa, we talk about being full of wisdom. Geshe said here we're talking about the wisdom of Lapa Sumrwa, the wisdom of the three higher trainings of ethics, concentration, and wisdom.
So
the word Rigpa actually indicates this higher training in wisdom, and the Shabsu is said to indicate the other trainings in ethics and concentration.
So
thus gone one means thus gone to that supreme liberation, to the bliss of liberation. So thus gone indicates thus gone to that supreme. It is the supreme type of bliss. No other bliss or happiness exceeds that.
내도 지니 알아was.
So transcendent indicates understanding all of the causes and conditions, the various things that are coming about in samsara and so forth.
시원데이 칼로자와 시원도와 세리 치리렐라 때네테는 수인담마다 뭐고 고용이 아이다 시원도와.
Again, so sorry. Nga go thomson karin sena nganso lung di drama songarwa yine nganso thanda dila drosa redwa nganso thanda dela yerwa yine lung drama songarwa.
Lung drosa ngende saso.
Mare sikche thambo mato de mason sikche ni bedi de mason thanda. Sorry.
ngande sa ikalo.
No de mason. Dewa shepa.
Dewa shepa jide chema shewa de kalwajawa lana me balato mano jetemba suji chodende te.
So then the blissfully preceding the knower of the world, charioteer and subduer of beings, the unsurpassable and teachers of gods and men, such is Buddha, victorious, virtuous, and transcendent.
다 ndesonga 시원데 칼로자와 시원도와 세치레렐라 때네 senchega 다 그게 가고서와 오다 코로스 간닐라 ndndo 왔던 용이 아레스.
And yes, so subduer of beings indicates donda gonda.
세시와스 수지가 수레렐라 때네 코로스 ndeba no 용이 아이자더니 수질바지스.
So the subduer of beings means that the words that the Buddha utters is exactly in accordance with the needs of sentient beings and the wishes of sentient beings, and in this way he is able to subdue them. Lagi?
Yeah.
And subduer of beings means even those that are kind of strong beings, forceful or difficult beings, through the speech of the Buddha, their minds are able to be subdued. And the unsurpassable means that they can Unsurpassable means that the Buddha can teach all beings regardless of distinctions of gender, of ethnicity, of caste, and so forth. And also unsurpassable because they have attained that unsurpassable or supreme state. And even when one achieves liberation alone, achieving liberation is a very great achievement, but right, that is not the unsurpassable achievement. Once one achieves the state of complete Buddhahood, then one is said to have attained the unsurpassable. The teacher of gods and men, we understand that when the Buddha propounded the Dharma, many devas, beings like Brahma and so forth, they offered jewels and made requests for the teaching, and in this way he taught the devas as well as the human beings. And so those offerings that the devas made to the Buddha, we also try to do a similar kind of offering to those during the long life pujas too. For example, His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama and so forth. So ale di lung tangi maripe tamo. Ale So then next, he who is thus gone exemplifies the merit which is his cause. In him no root of virtue is ever worn away. Through his manifold patience he is exceedingly beautiful. He is the treasure ground of merit, adorned with the tokens of enlightenment. He is graced with the flowers of the marks of Buddhahood. the merit which is his cause, we understand that when we speak of Buddha Shakyamuni, also when we speak of Tara, Manjushri, Maitreya, any of the Buddhas of the three times, they come about in concordance with this cause, in concordance with this cause of merit.
다 제텀발 슝아레 마tum 레 마tum 마tum비 절이다 그런 것들이 슝아마레.
So the Buddhas arise from concordant, in other words, harmonious causes. They cannot arise from non-concordant causes.
다 기자와는 처음사와 세아다 나로서 개와셔바 이나 템보 마지나. 다 코로 출랑도 요이자 다 코로서 다 버서서바 시라 버서서바 니가 다 보게
And no root of virtue is ever worn away. This means that those positive causes, they are not degenerated, because the practices of this great being combines a perfect method and perfect wisdom, and they study and practice in this way. The virtues or the merit that they accumulate is not worn away. In other words, it does not degenerate.
And
so because they are able to accumulate these exceedingly perfect of virtues in this way, these great causes, they can come to this great result. And so patience is exceedingly beautiful, or we could also say adorned with exceeding patience. This means that no matter what sort of the external situation is, they are able to abide in that patience perfectly. Yeah. And so, of course, we don't need to have any doubt in our mind that the patience that the Buddha possesses is that perfect supreme patience. So he is the treasure ground of merit, which means that he is the basis for the accumulation of merit of many sentient beings. And also in terms of the merits that we accumulate through bringing forth joyous effort to study and practice the teachings, right? This also comes through the Buddha having propounded the teachings. So in that way, he is also a treasure ground of merit, or like a basis of merit, we could say. So he is adorned with the tokens of enlightenment. He is adorned with the flowers and the marks of the Buddha. So in terms of these marks and signs that he possesses, you will find this in the 4th chapter of the Abhisamayalankara, the ornament of clear realization. Geshe says, like, I'm not fully awake. No, this isn't the case. It's just we're going so fast through this, so it's hard to get to everything. Yes. So Geshe said, we don't have a lot of time, so no choice. So Geshe said that actually when we talk about the marks and signs of the Buddha, right, one of the things we talk about is that on the palms of his hands and so forth, we think there's said to be this Dharma wheel and so forth, other auspicious signs. So Geshe said also we understand that Dharma wheel is not on the surface of the skin, right? That Dharma wheel is sort of embedded within the flesh. So this is an example of these kind of marks and signs of a Buddha. So he is adorned with the flowers and the marks of the Buddha. So adorned with all of these beautiful marks and signs. So next, all he does is seasonable and opportune, and nothing inharmonious mars the sight of him. True joy indeed he gives to those who open up their hearts to him in faith. Through the brilliance of his wisdom he is unconfounded, and against his power there is no victory.
다시 더 무엇이면 그것이 렘바 텀바 토나 마타바 메바 세레 센첸데 디세 카발레소나 론소페 용고요바 하고서라와 더 티셀레소나
Seasonal and opportune means that at the moment that sentient beings sort of have the causes for him to be there, he is immediately there, right? The Buddha is immediately there in that instant.
토나 마타바 메바 세레 손지지 야 마스도 세이나 진지소나 론소페게 다 베 가와 용와지 다네서 요아이자 토나 마타바 메바
Nothing inharmonious mars the sight of him means that when sentient beings behold the Buddha, when they see the Buddha, it is only something positive, right? A natural liking for him that will arise within their mind stream. So nothing can be marred.
데비 미바나라 냐바 가와 다저 다 대와도 든디고 요키는 론소더니 베 가와도 든디 용기아레
So those who have faith and so forth in him, in his teachings, true joy indeed, he is able to help them to bring forth true happiness.
시라 선지 문에바 또 놀라 저와메바 세레 예그 베 시라라 때네 코로파가 네바 용한다고도 또라 때네 네바 용한다고 또 냠바
talking about nam talking about
말은 다시 한다고 네바 냠바더니 요아라
ale perna
다 생진게 소망 냠바 세와시게 또 침보더니 이나요
로소.
진네바시 마토바
Ale. And also through the brilliance of his wisdom, he is unconfounded. So unconfounded means that sort of evildoers, evil beings and so forth, because of the power of his wisdom, they are not able to overcome him.
슈슈 소드는 요아 우모가도 또가 세하더니 요아레
Yeah. And this is explained in the scripture. We speak about the 5 capacities, the 5 powers, and so forth.
드네스도 손지게 더모마이 또 째요아레 요아레
And it is said that the Buddha in particular, Topchu, it possesses 10 uncommon powers.
냐만제는 할레비지 고용고 요아레
And this is explained fully in the teachings of the Abhidharma, Abhidharma Kosha.
아니 셈데라
교보적인
오야 세제노제 템바 손주에 셈바노제 야 바베 고자노제 자원양엘렌데 베투제는 로아노제 테페
He is the teacher of all living beings, the father of all bodhisattvas, the king of all superior ones. He is the guide of those who journey to the city beyond affliction.
오다 센제 돈제제 템바 세제가레 그레만디 와스 어때 할레하기네스 지와레스
Simchen kare churi me ba.
세제 돈제게 템바 ngina지나
So he is the teacher of all living beings, right? Means that he is unbiased. There's not some that are close, some that are far. He is the teacher for all sentient beings.
오다 메시지 먹겠던 로세지 먹겠던 로아리 주게 센제 요조 코포게 자 침보서 토야지도 다든지 깔라라된 용거야이자 템방이네레 되어레스
He is a real teacher because not only human beings does he see in this way, but all of the animals, indeed all 6 types of beings within samsara. He sees them with equality, and thus he is truly the teacher of all.
쇼지 셈바노지 야 쇼지 셈바를 지게 당한조 빠바노지 아고서라와 쇼지 셈바 용용도 마요세아데 손지가 깔라 로주시 뇨레셰도 마시 투야이자 pone 빠반다보데레
He is the father of all bodhisattvas because bodhisattvas achieved the state of the bodhisattva through the study and practice of his teachings. He is like the father to all.
파피 고자노지 자보스 파파 고자니 데도 로자도 쇼지 셈바 파파 모바야라와 대강기 자본다보데 손지레
He is the guide of those who journey to the city beyond affliction. So in other words, those who achieve liberation, the Shravakas, the hearers, the Pratyeka Buddhas, and so forth. He is also like their guide, like their leader.
냥엘렌 데페 도체던 로아노지 데페
He is the guide of those who journey to the city beyond affliction.
오다 타발은 론데바 아니 오다 손질은 론데바 서도 세이나 레토모 또 코로파게 지키게 데페하고 로 드지는 로그는 마 녀칠롱가 시키고 빼모지 용거 알까와이나
So he is the guide. Yeah, Hakosung. He is the guide of those who He is the guide of those who wish to achieve Buddhahood. He is the guide of those who wish to reach liberation. Those who journey to the city beyond affliction. Trusigi Lamtripadi. He is like the captain of the ship that will lead them there.
오 된데서와 어다 20바다 메바 번에 20바다 메바 서리 투게 예데
Sorry, Tambo Loshogin.
또 20바다 된지 지바로 20바다 메바 보바 선제 마자바 수노바다 바요니 그제다 이초 마시바 끝춤바 메바
His wisdom is unbounded, his assurance is beyond imagining, his speech is altogether pure, well-tuned and sweet to hear. Gazing on him one is never sated, his body is beyond compare.
어다 디거더니 그수티서가 다 예데데 되게 요레스도지
And so this particular verse is expressing the qualities of the Buddha's holy body, his holy speech, and his holy mind.
어떤 노징아 칸이라 그렇게 수트에서 사 거대야 이제 베게 있는 대워야래. 다이는 인디노 포티 만다와래. 디와스.
So body, speech, mind, when we talk about qualities of body, speech, and mind, especially in Tibetan, this kind of just rolls off the tongue, but we might not be comprehending fully. Here it is explaining all of those qualities.
어다 20바도 매바 세라 다 튀게 예대. 아까서와 다 튀게 예대 쳔베 예대 다 팔려야 내지 지야이자 20바도 매바.
So unbounded, his wisdom is unbounded, means his qualities of intelligence, his qualities of holy mind are incomprehensible.
내선대 하고 그래. 내선대 하고 말해서 내서 쳔네 매바 이자 20바도 매바.
And unbounded also means we can't say the Buddha understands this, but he does not understand that, right? He understands and penetrates all. In this way, it's unbounded, unobstructed.
어다니 바수게 예대. 뽑아선제 맞잡아 수놈바다바 용년바 순게 예대.
His assurance is beyond imagining. And next, we're talking about his qualities of speech. His speech is altogether pure, tuned, and sweet to hear.
다 senjega pengdo senjega tenda page kange meba zoya tenda karasu gna ina pa chene tuba meba isa pobasonji machaba.
So his speech, he is able to say to sentient beings whatever they need in order to be able to clear their suffering, and in this way it is well tuned.
oda ngarosu ina page lojo inere nyole inere tenda karinjaba ina ta pobak tembochi garesa azuja de aji de jires.
And one of the things that is really important that he says in his speech is that in terms of our study, in terms of our practice, it is important to have a courageous, brave attitude to this.
ngajanji page ndimanda wochi yosi yare tenda ta ngaja ngazo kale kale meba zo jire powa kadi ino tembo ku yares.
And so sometimes we might think that courage in our practice and pride or arrogance is the same thing, but in fact this is incorrect. And as we continue in our practice and build up courage, actually pride will slowly be diminished.
powa sonje machaba su nomba taba ane yonyemba ta kumete makosh kimandua su nomba taba serta tsoma kawa karina pre kotobaji karasumba ina yo.
So pure and sweet to hear means whatever words that are uttered by the Buddha, right, they are very pleasant.
ota yonyemba serteu tane page kar kondeba ina yo ta yu
So not only are the things to be understood, but what is expressed beautifully. It's pleasing to the ear. Gazing on him, one is never sated. His body is beyond compare. So once we see the Buddha, we're never sated. It means we want to see the Buddha again and again. We never tire or bore of seeing him. So, by the realm of desire, he is unstained, and by the realm of form, wholly uncontaminated. He is not mingled with the formless. He is altogether free from misery, and from the aggregate he is utterly and altogether free. The elements have no hold on him. He has mastery of the sense powers. All bonds he has completely severed, and from all pain he is perfectly and totally released. So this is explaining how he is free of any of the faults of the three realms. In other words, the desire, form, and formless realms. So he is altogether free from misery. This also means that he can guide any sentient beings to that liberation from suffering. And the aggregates, from the aggregates, he is utterly and altogether free. So the meaning behind this is he is free from those aggregates which are compelled by karma and affliction, and hence he is also free from karma and affliction. So all the bonds he has completely severed, and in this way, exactly in accordance with the affinities and capacity of sentient beings, he can give them exactly what they need. And in this way, whatever a problem of mind or problem of body they are experiencing, he can free them from that.
세발에 넘버 저와 저와가 이시면서 좀 디바도 마셔봐도 다다시면 소제체 된데 노지 이시라 네바.
No craving does he have. He has passed beyond the stream. Perfect is his wisdom, and in the wisdom of the Buddhas past, present, and to come, he has made his dwelling.
그래서 세발이 저와 세레단 대초할까. 그냥 바저도 지발이 저와라.
So no craving means separated from attachment and also any imprints left behind by attachment.
저월이 가와 선디카도 저워지요래. 생기나지나.
Chuoji.
이나지나. 데비 저와 따이 저 세와 다들 세비 저와세네.
And he is separated from the stream. He is separated actually from 4 streams, and this we can explain at a later time. This is these 4 streams are actually referring to 4 things in the direction of affliction from which he is free. And that stream, since it represents the affliction, when one has successfully crossed the stream, one is then parted from that affliction. Perfect is his wisdom. It is perfect because every single type of wisdom comprehending any object has been realized. And in this way, he has. It is the wisdom of the Buddhas, past and present. He has come to make his dwelling. Yes. In nirvana, where all suffering is transcended, he does not abide. His abode is the very summit of perfection. Residing in that place, he perceives all beings. Such are the sublime qualities that are the greatness of the Buddha, victorious, virtuous, and transcendent. This is talking about, we talk about the kayas or the bodies that the Buddha achieves. So we can say that this is sort of pointing towards either the presentation of those 2 bodies or the 3 bodies that the Buddha achieves. Yeah. So does not abide. This means he's not abiding in nirvana, in other words, mere liberation for himself. He is not abiding in that personal liberation. So the very summit of perfection, one way to understand this is here we're talking about the truth body, the Dharmakaya. Residing in a place where he perceives all sentient beings, we understand that this is referring to the Rupakaya, or the form body through which he interacts with beings. So such are the sublime qualities of the Buddha. So now we are talking about the qualities of the Dharma. We're on page 8. The sacred doctrine is righteous in the outside, righteous in the middle, righteous in the end, in its meaning excellent, and its words and syllables likewise. It is integral and unalloyed. It is the all-sufficing, altogether pure and purifying. So it is happy to practice in the beginning, the middle, and the end, and in this way it is, the Dharma is something that is righteous in the beginning, middle, and end. And its words and syllables are excellent because each word and each syllable is connected with our achievement of happiness. So unalloyed and all-sufficing, that means through our study and practice of the Dharma, it is the antidote to all of the afflictions. So all of the afflictions can be cleared away, and in this way it is all-sufficing and pure and purifying. Pure and purifying means it can purify any stain whatsoever. Well spoken is this Dharma by the victorious, virtuous, and transcendent. It is a perfect way of seeing and is devoid of ailment. It is perennial and leads us onward. To this Dharma is to fulfill one's purpose. The wise will see it in their self cognizing wisdom.
다 칠리 예때 가리 요알자라바 이는 달로 조시 녀래 야보셔바시는 내돈다와 때는 디절라소바 강갈로면 메바조 토그래.
So through the study and a practice of the Dharma, then it is perennial, and one can overcome, for example, the 4 maras, the 4 demons, and so forth.
다 사모투만이 다 내서 차 내서 니네 때 보게 간조 다 매돌 따와노지 다 도케텔 다 보게
And also here we understand that it is when we have that direct realization of emptiness, being able to see that emptiness just like the flower in front of us, that one becomes a Pagpa or an Arya, a superior being. And in this way, from that ultimate sense, the purpose is fulfilled.
The
Dharma spoken by the victorious, virtuous, and transcendent is shown to be well-tempered and to the instruction and the needs of all. It drives us from samsara and causes us to go to perfect Buddhahood. It is free from contradiction, and in it all is summarized. It is totally to be relied upon. It is a cutting of the root. Let's look. So we're talking here through the Dharma that is spoken, one is able to achieve higher rebirth, right, in the favorable realms of samsara, and also excellent goodness, one is able to achieve liberation and so forth. And then one is able to go through all of the 5 paths and eventually reach that state of perfect Buddhahood. Jewacheba, yeah. So cutting at the root really means that it's because this teaching is able to cut through both the afflictions and their imprints that the root is able to be cut. So we've now spoken about the qualities of the Buddha and the Dharma jewels, so now we speak about the qualities of the Sangha jewel. The Sangha in Mahayana comprises those who have well entered, wisely entered with straightforwardness and aptitude. Right it is to join our hands before them, and right to make prostration. So they are they are able to lead us well on the path to liberation, and in this way we speak of them as wisely entered. So straightforwardness here we mean honest, right? We want to be an honest person, so the Sangha is honest. It is straightforward. Because they understand the way that things really are and have understanding, in this way they are worthy for us to fold our palms in respect to them. So because they are able to lead us to that a state of lasting happiness, they are worthy of our respect. They are the glorious field of merit. They are the perfect recipients of gifts. They are the object of offering, and everywhere and always they are the worthy object of all offering. Therefore, the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, when we speak of generosity, making offerings, and so forth, they are the perfect field, the perfect basis to which to make offerings. This ends the Sublime Sutra of remembering the 3 jewels. Yeah, so that was, I wasn't expecting a full commentary like that, but hopefully everybody got the gist. So in this way, you've had both the Lung, the oral transmission, and the commentary of this Sutra of the 3 jewels, recollecting the 3 jewels. Okay. So Geshe is now going to give the transmission of these 2 mantras of Avalokiteshvara, the Om Mani Padme Hum and the long mantra.
Namo Renataya, Namo Ayanjana, Sangara, Berotanaya, Biaranzaya, Tatankataya, the Sonia Sobidaya, Namasawata Nangata, Bedara, Hatebe, Sonia Go, So Bedebe, Namaya, Avalokate, Shoraya, Boda, Satoya, Masati, Makarane, Kaya, Teata. 마 karuna ya matan digel mata jima ngado kecha yungro was karuna sir ni ji meres.
So karuna in the mantra, karuna, it means compassion, right? That it is indicating compassion there.
Karuna le tene ya karuna sir tendo angina le dewan go ba se yares.
And karuna, one understanding of the Sanskrit word is that which stops happiness, which might seem a bit funny, but it's that which stops happiness. So we say, like, why is it that compassion might be stopping happiness, right? We're thinking that compassion should be a source of happiness.
So we
So when we talk about stopping happiness, the meaning of this word karuna, which indicates compassion in Sanskrit, when we talk about stopping happiness, it's not talking about stopping the happiness that we experience in our mind. So when we talk about stopping happiness, it's because that great compassion, out of concern for sentient beings, one is not abiding in the happiness of liberation. It's that happiness of nirvana or liberation from oneself that is being indicated. So we don't abide in the extreme of existence or in the extreme of peace, right? This extreme of peace is that peace of self-liberation. Yeah, so when we hear that word karuna, we might think a bit strange, that which stops happiness, but that is the meaning of that word karuna, which indicates compassion in Sanskrit. And also when we talk about compassion, we also understand there's different types of compassion that become more and more full as we continue along the path. So really, in the Sutra Mahayana sense, when we talk about compassion, it is really that wish for beings to be separated from suffering and the causes of suffering. But as we come into the tantric path, we'll also see that various forms of realization of emptiness are also called compassion for various reasons. So stopping happiness, here we're talking about stopping the happiness of personal peace. So there's a great reason for that. So in this way we okay, so Geshe wants me to read it out to you once as well. So maybe we can, I don't know if people have it in front of him. If you know the great compassion mantra, you can recite it with me. Namo Ratna Trayaya, Namo Arya Jinana Sagara, Varochana Byu Rajaya, Tata Gataya, Nama Sarva Tata Gatabya, Arahate Bya, Samyaksam, Buddha Bya, Nama Arya Avalokiteshwaraya, Bodhisattvaya, Mahasatvaya, Mahakarunikaya, Tayata, Om Dara Dara, Diri Diri, Duru Duru, Itiwate, Chale Chale, Prachale, Prachale, Kusume, Kusume Ware, Ili Mili Chiti Jwala, Apanaye Swaha.
So Geshe
is saying that, like, oh, maybe my way of reciting the mantra is better. Like, this is not true, right? Like, he's holding the lineage. I mean, I took a beginner Sanskrit course like 2 years ago. Big deal. That's doesn't mean I'm an expert.
And
so Geshe said that in this way we have been able to celebrate together the a birthday of His Holiness, the great 14th Dalai Lama. This is a very great birthday. So Geshe said, you know, if we just ate some cake or whatever to celebrate, like, that's also a nice way to celebrate His Holiness's birthday. But in this way, actually, we've been able to start the birthday of His Holiness by doing something endowed with meaning. And in this way, way, we can now relax.
아주 좀 이러와 어다 양간조 디지털 디섹터 첨부들 개와 시슈바데 가와서 뭐래 현다를 지고 다 기워지네 다 야 보고 지고요 이세요 보지 그래서 거야 뭐 디와서 아니라면서 아니라 이 간조 개와서 기워래 예 다 기워서네 다 개와
So in this way, we have to not only rejoice in our own merits that we have accumulated on this occasion, but we are also rejoicing in the merits of all sentient beings. And so in this way, that is all that Geshe has to share today. So let us dedicate the merits.
Let's start with His Holiness's long life prayers.
Sorry? Oh, these are usually recited at the end. You want to recite at the beginning?
No. We can do it at the end, but let's not do it. Let's make sure we do it.
Yes. No, of course. Yeah, no, absolutely. No, that is important. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, no, perfect. We shall. 장조 semjo rinpoche maje banam jejoji jeban yamba mebayon gone gondu pewar sho tongni tawa rinpoche maje banam jejoji jeban yamba mebayan gone gondu pewar cho jambe bao jidar kemba kan gundu zambo teyan de jinde Deda kungi jesu dalo jir Gewa dida tamshe radungo Dusu shebe gewa tamshe ge Ngowa gangla chodu ngabade Dagi gewe tsawa dikun kya Zambu chuji The long life prayer of His Holiness. Gangri rawe korwe jingam dir pendang dewa maru jongwe ne Chenrezig wan tenzin gyatso yi shabe site bardu tengyur chi. The prayer that fulfills all wishes. Toni ningje sundu jubelam cheche sedze gangchen tenregun chana pemo tenzin gyatsola sorwa debzo shendun lunru sho. Through these merits, may all of the difficulties beings are experiencing, many of which we can see, the difficulties of body, the difficulties of mind, may they be parted from those, and may the sun of happiness shine with equality on all 6 types of beings within samsara. And may His Holiness the Dalai Lama have a very long life, as well as all other qualified teachers on the path. May these holy beings have long life and abide stable to bring benefit. All right, so we'll pause there.
Yeah.
So Geshe said it's a short session today. I mean, here in Canada, right, some people may have to get to work this morning, so Geshe said we won't have question and answer as we usually do. Take care, everybody. Stay happy.